D&D from A to Z. Spells for you and spells for me. We will see what we will see today. Locales galore and monsters roar. Nerds adore forevermore. Let's explore some ancient lore. Hey, hey. Hello, welcome. My name is Jordan Mayotte and I am the Alphabetical DM. This show is one in which I review every monster, spell, location that exists within the Forgotten Realms for some reason. Also, I'll have a main subject. This one is the first in what was potentially many. We'll see how, good I am at things. Continuing, keeping up with not just the Kardashians, but this. The first in a series of traps and puzzles videos in which I will discuss various traps and puzzles I have used over the years. I want to just go out, start with a bang, and this is probably my favorite just in terms of an example that I don't think I came up with this one, to be honest. So I should say that with a grain of salt. In fact, I'm pretty sure I haven't. As we go on, we'll use ones that I have come up with, but this one, just because it's maybe my favorite one that I've used, let's say. I've called it the Countdown, and it's a pretty simple one. It's actually very simple. And also very evil in terms of psychological torment of your players, which is not something every DM's gonna like. And this one is just sort of a fun one, and your players will come to your players' characters will come to no harm. Your players, on the other hand, might want to kill you after. So basically, what it is, and this is how I described it to my players, give or take. They all entered a room together. The sort of door they entered slammed shut behind them. Big metal bars, multiple things, sort of like the beginning of Get Smart in reverse, where things are slamming shut, and they're locked in there, and there's no getting out. There's no strength check strong enough to get out of this room, basically. Good if your players are not a super high level that can just teleport out. Things of that nature would make this trap moot. So I think we did it. I did it to them at maybe 5th level, somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyways, so that happens, and then a pedestal sort of raises from the center of the room, and above the pedestal, a light shines, and from that light you see the number 10. In fiery letters that are sort of sparking with magic. And then you see the number 9, 8, 7. And you do, as the DM, you do that countdown, waiting for the PCs. 6, what do you do? 7, you each have a turn to act and see how they react. Now, the trap, the puzzle here, is nothing happens. Shit, I forgot the most important part. Underneath, on the pedestal, is a giant red button. Always make it a big red button. They're going to push a button regardless. Make it a big red one. Whenever the button is pushed, the timer resets to 10, 9, 8. You see the big red button there. They push it. The timer starts out at 10. And I would do this in real time. 9, 8, and sort of let them react to it. Now, the trick, the evil part of this is they will just keep pushing the button. At least this is what happened to my players. And I think the reason I don't think I came up with this is because I think I heard another DM use this somewhere. And it was the same sort of thing. They would just keep pushing the button, and the timer would keep resetting. Now, the trick is you just have to let it get to 1, and then the doors open. And that's it. But they're like so terrified that if they don't push it, the room's going to explode or fill with water or whatever like that. So nothing's going to happen to the characters. All they have to do is not push it, and then the door opens and they're free to go. So that is the evilness of the countdown button. Use sparingly, and this is a trick too that you can really only use once on your players, unless you do it. Would be just realizing what would be even eviler, not a word, but would be to do this and then later on in the campaign do the exact same thing, but if they let it get down to one, the room starts filling with water or whatever. Yeah, evil incarnate. Oh shit. I forgot to push several buttons, like I'm an idiot. A professional would restart the episode, but I am not, so will not. Basically, everything I say in this episode will be an opinion. So, take that with a grain of salt. Normally, I would push this button. And that would take us to our main subject, which I've already done, the main subject, because I'm an idiot. For shame. So instead, I'm going to push this button. That will take us to our monster. A long line of adult dragons. Is Silver the last? Ooh, I can't remember. You know what I should do? Let's just check. Since this is the most unprofessional... What episode is this? 16, I think? Of the episodes I have done before, this is the most unprofessional and has had the most screw-ups. Other than the one, I will say... red... Other than the one that I didn't record, I didn't hit the record button, that was episode 6, actually. And I had to... Okay, white dragon. We got one dragon to go after this, and then we're out of the goddamn dragons. Whew. Alright, looks like we're going to have some fun after that. Okay, yeah, there was the episode that I just didn't record. Thank God I upload these to Twitch with 0 viewers. Because I just downloaded it from Twitch and used that. And it came out okay. The audio was a little off. Okay, Adult Silver Dragon. What we're actually here to do is rate every monster, every spell, every location within the Forgotten Realms. Adult Silver Dragon. 16 frightful presence, as you do for a dragon. Breath weapon. Oh, it's got a couple here. Cold is fun. Cold damage. No other effect. I like when cold damage also slows you. That's always fun. Paralyzing. Oh, maybe because it has this. Dragon exhales paralyzing gas. Each creature... 20. 1 minute. Repeat the saving throws. Okay, paralyzing's fun. And the fact that this is a good dragon, maybe that's why it needs a non-damage dealing, just, stop the baddies. Change shape. Again, very typical. Looking at, and this has sort of been a theme with the adult dragons we've reviewed so far, that if you just take the stat block of these, the differences are not enormous. Like numbers and a few abilities. It's when you get down below where you can sort of sink your teeth into them a little bit more. Oh, like a dragon might. Layer actions. Fog cloud spell. Okay. Blistering cold. That's fun. Gases dispersed. Flames extinguished. Okay. I presume it has dark vision. Oh, it's got blind sight too. Dark vision. Okay. Pretty fun. Regional effects. Alter the weather in 6-mile radius. Strong winds. Given days or longer to work, the dragon can make clouds and fog within its lair as solid as stone, forming structures and other objects as it wishes. That's pretty cool. I don't remember reading anything like that in any of the other dragons' information, so that's pretty cool. This I like. The friendliest and most social of the metallic dragons, silver dragons cheerfully assist good creatures in needs. They're virtuous. The friend to the small races. You, the player, will no doubt be playing a small race. So if you're going to make friend with a dragon, seems like silver is the way to go. They respect humanity and hoarding history. Silver dragons love to possess relics of humanoid history. Interesting. Okay, so if you're going to have a dragon for a friend, it sounds like silver probably the way to go. So it's going to bump up its mark to... I'm going to go 5 minus 0.2. You're going to have to do math on that episode. on that rating. I mean, oh boy. Quickly and not so quickly off the rails this episode. Really dropped the ball on it. Probably it's going to get worse from here, so just keep that in mind and probably turn this episode off and never listen to another one. Moving on to spell. Specifically, Arcane Lock. You touch touch a closed door, window, gate, chest, or other entryway. Well, chest is not really an entryway, is it? And it becomes locked for the duration, which is until dispelled. Wow. You can also set a password when spoken within 5 feet of the object. Suppress the spell for 1 minute. Otherwise, it is impassable until it is broken or the spell is dispelled or suppressed. I believe Knock would do that because it works on magic locks. Yes? Casting... Oh, idiot. I should have just read an extra sentence. Casting Knock on the object suppresses Arcane Lock for 10 minutes. While affected by the spell, the object is more difficult to break or force open. The DC to break it or pick it lock is increased by 10. Okay, second level. Gold dust. Okay, so it actually does have a priced component. So it's not free to do, which is interesting. I feel like of spells that require a monetary thing, a monetary material component, this one I would be not too worried about. Like normally I don't ignore that. Normally I do enforce if there's a monetary component, but for this one, I guess if my players started abusing it somehow, which inevitably they'd find a way to do so. Get rid of that, and maybe I would bump up my mark, but that is part of the spell. So, rating wise, I don't know. This one's not blowing me away. I'm just gonna go 2. Yeah, take that, Arcane Lock. Although this is a cool picture, so I'm gonna go 2.1. Yeah, thank you, picture. You bumped it up a bit. Let's move on to...
Arrived at your destination.
Our destination being Adventure Mart. Now, this is fun. This is my favorite one so far because of all the locations we've done so far. This is the only one that I've actually been to in terms of this exists within Baldur's Gate. Waukeens Promenade in Baldur's Gate 2 Shadows of Am, I do believe is the full title. Baldur's Gate, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Adventure Mart over the years, so this one's fun for me. Adventure Mart was a shop found in Waukeens Promenade in the central district of during the... They're typically looked down upon most part of the city. Shop catered to adventurers, selling magical items, weapons, armor, spellcasting supplies. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in there. And it's just when you sort of pop out of the main dungeon of the game too, so you're in need of selling all the goods that you've sort of accrued over that time, so that's fun. It's a fun place to be, and I like it. So I'm going to give it a 5, and I'm also going to give it a 0.1 for nostalgia. So this is our first, if I do recall, fairly certain, our first location to get above a 5, and that's on a 5-point scale, so that is ridiculous. The store was located in the western part of Waukeens. It was the closest store location when Gorein's ward escaped from the dungeon of John Raniquart, voiced by... Ooh, I wonder if it'll tell us who voiced it. I can picture the actor in my mind. It's not John Hurt, is it? Death, Appendix, voiced by David Warner. David Warner. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Oh, he's still around and kicking. I believe he's been in some Doctor Who's, right? Great actor. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 5. Yeah, David Warner, actor, 5 out of 5. Oh yeah, now we could see that interior if we so desire, because it's in a video game. Let's get a better look at that. Little black, yes. Yeah, so there's some weird characters in there as well. Oh man, this makes me want to play the game. Oh, is that the magic missile? of the Adventure Mart. Move on to
Arrived at your destination.
yes. So if you first episode, first of all, apologize because this is a bad one. See, what I do in the scenario segment is combine the monster, combine the spell, and combine it with the location, all into one. You guessed it, scenario that you can use in your. You can use for inspiration, just for poops and giggles. So this goes thusly. It is not unusual for adult silver dragons to spend great swaths of their lives in humanoid form. What was I thinking? Elect Raniquarts. Elect Raniquarts. There was something I was doing with this name of this dragon, and I can't remember what it was. Maybe it will make sense momentarily. The way this episode is going, probably won't, though. Raniquart's life was no exception, and during one of these periods, she came. That name is bugging me. I forget why. Oh, Electronic Arts. Electronic Arts. Electronics Arts. No exception. During one of these, I'm an idiot. During one of these periods, she came to know and greatly admire the gnome artificer. Artificer. Oh, Jesus, artificer. Oh, God. The gnome artificer / inventor Mat Tel. Together, they developed a unique toy that used the spell Arcane Lock in order to activate a small, medium, or large toy chest, revealing a unique toy inside to whatever children were lucky enough to have their parents purchase for them these loot boxes. They knew that for these to really take off, they would have to get them into every Adventure Mart, as they had, Adventure Mart that is, spread out throughout the realm due to their quality goods at affordable prices. The original Adventure Mart had located at Waukeens Promenade, so they must travel there with their wares in order to sell them. And then they will have to mass produce them, figure out distribution, and a host of other things will have to be sorted out. Which reminds me, I haven't played or seen much of Acquisitions Inc., although I believe this scenario in that setting, I think, makes a lot of sense. So, a scenario completed. Moving on to... a viewer question, viewer in quotes, because up to, from my perspective, give you a little behind the scenes action, 6 episodes have dropped and I have yet to have a question posted in the Underdark below. Couple nice comments. No questions. Should you have one, throw it down below and I will answer it in a future episode. God damn, this is a bad one. Yes. It's fun though when it's bad. Right? Viewer question. Okay. So until I could start taking them from below, I take them from Facebook groups, and quite often they're very verbose in Facebook. So I will sort of boil them down. So this one, and to be honest, this one I didn't boil down too much, and there wasn't one thing I will say, because this bugged me a little bit, and it might bug you as well. My PCs want to use animate dead on a duck. Now, I love that, but the post didn't say why, or was it just, why not, basically. So I don't have the answer why they want to animate a dead duck. I can't tell you. I would love to know. I would love to know myself, but the answer wasn't provided in the question. I apologize. So I said, sounds like fun. I would throw in some experimentation needed at first with lowering the DC each time. Yeah, because animate dead only works on humanoids, and a duck, if you're probably not a biologist, but a duck, not a humanoid. So lowering the DC each time as they prospect the spell for this non-humanoid based on the success failure. You could do things like So my thought here is, I guess they have multiple ducks. Hopefully not the same duck, or maybe the same duck. I don't know why they have so many dead ducks. What's going on in this scenario? They're gonna have to cast a spell multiple times in order to figure out how to get it to work for their needs, for their needs. Oh god. So it comes back from the dead, but can only quack. And then you can maybe make a table and roll on this as well. Comes back, but is not under the caster's control and attack. Now, I live in Canada, or Canada, some people call it. We have Canadian geese, and of animals in Canada that are likely to attack you, probably Canada goose, probably number one. Yeah, they are vicious and mean, and yeah, horrible, evil, scary. And imagine if it was undead as well. Comes back possessed by demon, lich, succubus, or farmer. Yeah, so something evil is possessing it, or just like someone's ghost ended up in it by mistake. Maybe, oh, you know what's fun with that, actually? If you are at a point in a campaign where, gods forbid, you've had a PC die, maybe their soul comes back in this duck. You know, that's kind of fun. Or it explodes. What I wouldn't mind from you below, audience participation time, what are some other consequences for a poorly brought back from the dead duck? That is a dumb question, and it sort of fits the theme of this episode, which is dumb for all the horrible mistakes I've made. Congratulations for that. I don't know. Folks, we did it, I guess. Whew, in terms of...
It's done!
Yeah, it should be. Should goddamn be. In terms of episodes being done, this is one. Should it have even have started is a question. But we're here at the end, where I would normally, and am going to, beg, borrow, and steal for likes, subscribes, notification bell clicks. No, I'm going to bribe for them, as I do, by saying for every 100, we're at 31, from my perspective right now, subscribers. When we reach 100, I'm going to be donating $10 to this lovely organization. When we reach 200, that's another 10. When we reach 400, that's another 10. When we reach 800, that's another 10. If, probably not the way this episode's going, reach that level where this channel starts making money, half of all monies will be donated to takethis.org. They help those with mental health issues and are also sort of intertwined with the gaming world, so a perfect fit for me and this thing, whatever the hell this thing is. Folks, that was a genuine sigh of thank God I'm done. One final thing to say, which is always a final thing to say, which is, it's nice to be nice to the nice.